Jim O'Callaghan, TD, migration. Uh, Before I go on to Jim O'Callaghan, I've been trying to get people to send me the home addresses of various politicians, much to the consternation of the establishment and perhaps even the Gardaí. But your home address, while we might like it to be private, is not strictly speaking private, and we have air codes now. My intention was to send the migrants to the well-to-do places that support their coming to Ireland. What the establishment wanted was that the migrants would go to the working class areas of Dublin, out to Clondalkin, out to Tala, and out to Ballyfermot. And I'm trying to persuade them to go to the richer areas. I saw there was a heap of them in Ballsbridge. Now, there are nice people in Ballsbridge, don't forget, the people living in flats there. But all in all, it's a rich, affluent area of Dublin, and you're very right to go there. And down along the canal, of course, is conducive to that. You have water and all that. Wait till the winter comes in. But the point about it, that's the canal that flows through Ballsbridge. One of the things about that is that that's a slightly affluent area, so you're getting the right idea. I wanted the migrants to go to Kildare Street in Dublin and camp outside the door, and let's see what will happen. And I suggested that the Phoenix Park would do outside the President's residence. They're now talking about, is it some place, Thornton Hall, out that was meant to be a prison. It was meant to be a prison. Now they're turning it into an asylum place because there's land around it. What's wrong with the Phoenix Park? I again urge migrants, go to the Phoenix Park outside Oris on Uachtaráin. It's up on the right as you go out towards Castleknock. That's the place. There's plenty of land there, right in the front, and you have Gardaí all around. Right? They don't like me saying that. Now, the other thing is Mr. Pat Kenny. Mr. Pat Kenny is a lovely man, a real do-gooder, a real broken heart, loves renewable energy, refused to let me on the radio. Once I got speaking once, he's seen that I was for real and he wouldn't let me on. That's up to him. I'm not complaining about that. But he has a house right beside Bullock Harbour, and there was big law about them building a nursing home there. He didn't feel it was conducive to him to have a nursing home. But he's supposed to be such a woke, nice person. In any event, I'm sure he will be very, very, very receptive to a big load of migrants landing into his big house, and he lets you use the toilet and things like that. Now, I'm not pushing it that you should be allowed in. I don't know what people he has in there, but he won't want you smoking any pot or cannabis or anything like that. He's very law-abiding, you know. So that's the place. Pat Kenny. He lives in Dalkey, Dalkey, along the sea, and he's close to Bullock Harbour. And there's a site beside him. His exact address, I'm not too sure. Good. He'll not assault you. He's not wicked. He's not tough like me. He's not that. He wouldn't turn on you or that. So that's the place to go. Now, the second man to go to is Jim O'Callaghan, TD. He's the man that said years ago that people should bring in migrants into their own homes. So he's clearly an extreme migrant. But I have news for you. A good lady contacted me, whom I believe is telling the truth. I don't listen to much radio, but wasn't he interviewed by the BBC? Now, Jim O'Callaghan is a Fianna Fáil, Choctaw TD for Dublin. I haven't looked it up. It's Dublin South there, around Dunleary right down. And he is a potential candidate for leadership because eventually they'll see the writing on the wall and they'll dump that idiot traitor Micheál Martin, and it'll not be somebody good that'll get it. It'll be the like of him. Fianna Fáil is not the party that it once was. Will you guys down the country and all around that vote for Fianna Fáil for traditional reasons come to realise that it's gone? That party is gone. They were a good party at one time and done a lot of good. They'll do no more, and likewise with the rest of them. So the thing about it is, he is not going up for election. He's a TD. He's going up for the next election, and we'll be trying to get the people to go around and canvass against him and put him out of power, get him out of there. He can get a job in Lidl's or Aldi or some of those places packing the shelves. Perfectly good job for anyone. I wouldn't mind doing it myself. So in there with him. But anyway, when he was interviewed about the migrant crisis, he said, the presenter asked him, was there not enough migrants? And he says no. He says we had 8 million people in Ireland during the famine, and we can have 8 million again. So this corroborates or adds or confirms what Eamon Cabbagehead Ryan, TD, said. In 2016, I made a video about it. If anyone doubts it, I have it there on a video. They're a bit hard to find. He said he wants 5 million extra people on the island of Ireland. And Jim O'Callaghan now has given the figure of 8 million as it being a reasonable figure. The present population in the Republic is about 4.5. So you're talking about 3.5 million extra. So is it any wonder these people are coming in when they know the government that the Irish people elected want 3.5 million more migrants in? Right? Now, I know from speaking to people that people are aghast at this. They're absolutely shocked and disgusted and fearful. My own policy is getting harder all the time. I think I'm going to come to the view that we'll deport them all, nearly all, and we'll try and deport the politicians who did it or bring some sanction against them. I believe we might win a constitutional amendment to hit their pensions, and then if we got that, we'll keep going on till we leave them that they won't want to live in Ireland at all. That's the like of Jim O'Callaghan, Micheál Martin, Leo Varadkar, Simon Harris, and all these left crowd of villains, every one of them. We'll make life so hard for them that they'll go. They'll go. So the thing about it is that in any event, that's what we really have. So in the next election, that'll be for the Dáil, that'll be in the autumn. But in the next election, you have these Fianna Fáiles running for the Europe. And I cannot emphasize enough, folks, you've got to vote for the parties on my side. You've got to vote for the parties who you know are strongly against this and will act and confront the EU and all on this, right? But there's no general election now. It's the European election. And therefore, I've given you the list of candidates. You look for the Irish Freedom Party. You look for the National Party. You look for the independents then, such as John Waters, such as the various, there's an Ireland First Party running there as well, and down in South you have Michael Leahy of the Irish Freedom Party, and in Dublin you have that Byron chap. He seems to be all right too. I don't know, but I am again. You'll see the party, Irish Freedom Party, and the National Party on the ticket, and I want you to vote number 1, Irish Freedom, and National 2, or whatever you want to do. And don't forget John Waters if you're in Ireland North West. And that includes County Kildare. So the point about it is, now is your time. You don't have to vote for your local politician. Now is your time to register a complete rejection, just as you did in the 2 marriage referendums. That we do not want this. Hit them very hard. Leave the paper. Leave it there. You'll get it down. Leave it. Do not continue on to support Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael. Ostracize them. Make their names toxic. And of course, Sinn Féin as well. Now, so this is really who Jim O'Callaghan is, and this is who the future leadership of Fianna Fáil is likely to be. You're never, ever going to get Fianna Fáil to come back to where they were. Never. The only thing is a new party that we might attract some Fianna Fáil people to it. We'll see you back for something else, folks. That's what he said. Now, remember during the famine, there was no dole, there was no health service, there was evictions by the score. The potato was the only thing that people had. The potato crop failed. There was no bluestone blight, there was no fungicide to save the people. The people died of hunger during the famine. And the dirty cheek of that tramp, and he can sue me if he wants, I'll give you the courts if you want it. The dirty cheek of that tramp to suggest that the people of Ireland who were living in Ireland, native people, who had a government in Britain run by John Trevelyan, and in Ireland, their agent, who exported grain and other commodities when the people were dying, are in the same position as these crowd. We don't even know who they are. Nobody tell who they are. Nobody tell them who they are. Nobody tell us. They won't tell us. I confronted one in a town, not in my hometown, and I got no response. Now, we're going to have to get tough, and we're going to get tough, and in this election, we've got to get tough. I'm talking about the European elections. Put the conventional parties out. If you don't, they'll put you out. Imagine 3.5 million people coming to Ireland, and nothing for us here ourselves. I think there's no need for me to say any more. I'm going to keep at this as long as I can. Thank you, folks. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. And any of you who feel different, comment underneath. But I notice that when it's people on my side, their comment is logical. I notice when it's the other side, they don't know what they're talking about. They're mumbled. And this is what I find by supporters of mass migration. When I ask them how many do they want, they won't answer. Now we know it's 5 million according to Eamon Ryan, and it's 3.5 million according to Fianna Fáil. What more do you want? Folks, see you back for something else. Goodbye.